Hello sirs and ma'ams, welcome back to another video. I was thinking about making a traditional gameplay video this week, possibly with Storm, but nah, there's something that needs to be addressed immediately. This event sucks. So a few days ago, an upcoming event was revealed featuring Vector and Zazz. It's a little bit weird that Zazz now has a special variant and is possibly the most hated character in Speed Battle, but whatever. I think they have fine enough designs, and I do like the theming. However, I can't say anything other positives about this event. These characters have terrible drop rates, they're extremely overpowered, and the team event portion probably doesn't even matter. This video will mostly be going into why exactly I'm complaining about these three things. First of all, let's talk about these drop rates. As I mentioned, they suck. A lot. Normally an event gives you either between 5 and 40 cards or 10 and 30 cards, depending on the scope of the event, such as how many characters are in there, is it a recap, etc. Getting only 5 cards sucks, especially since it's weighted towards the lower numbers, but in my experience, you'll generally get the character or characters as long as you play somewhat consistently. Here though, the minimum is only 3, as in, you're only getting half of what you normally get. This might not seem like much less than 5, but taking twice as long is a pretty big deal. Yes, you are unlocking 2 characters at once, but when you break down its equivalency, you're basically having 6 days of a normal event for each of these characters, and you don't have control over what your red star rings are going into. It's really bad. The only other event that was like this was the Treasure Hunter Knuckles and the Elite Agent Rouge events, but at least those events gave you one of the characters for free. I chose Elite Agent Rouge, and I struggled to unlock Treasure Hunter Knuckles. If they didn't bump up the race near the end of the event, I'm not sure if I'd have him. Characters have been released in pairs before, but they always had a minimum of 5, even if there were 2 of them. You either got both at the same time with that minimum, or they spaced it out in a few parts, such as, say, of Classic Sonic, and then the second part of Santa Big. I don't think it's viable when it's done this way, and I think it's unfair that these are objectively worse pulls than normal, especially when, again, you can't decide which one you can focus on. It will take most of the event just to unlock both of them, and then take an even longer time to get them at a viable level. So you're either going to need the Evolve or spend a ton of time with the game, or both. But when you look at the characters themselves, maybe you don't need them at a viable level to use them. Getting into the characters themselves, they are extremely overpowered, primarily, or one would argue solely, because of the boost. It genuinely feels like this boost was designed with an older version of the game, before every single boost was nerfed. Even at level 1, it lasts significantly longer than other boosts. I know that the upgrades only increase the speed, but that still means that it's extremely overpowered at every level. I was thinking that maybe when I saw footage of it initially that it was overpowered because the characters in question were using low-leveled characters in Tier 8, but no. I played against a level 1 DJ Vector today, and even having 100 rings, using Zazz, and using Star Trail wasn't enough to hold them off. The only reason I won the race is because they stormclouded themselves, but I needed a boost to make up for half the ground they passed me with. And then, even after that, and I hit them with a Star Trail, they still almost lost. Even if it didn't do anything when it hits you, which it does, it'd still be blatantly extremely overpowered. And on top of that, their other moves aren't bad. Like, the Vector has Storm Clouds, which Storm Clouds themselves can make a character viable. It's like preseason Way, but on steroids, because no other boost is even close to like this. I can't even imagine what it's like at a higher level, and I think it needs to be nerfed ASAP. But let's just say you don't care about how good bad these characters are. You just want to support your team at the team events. Well, you can't even do that either. Team events have never been at the forefront of the game, but they can't grant you decent enough rewards regardless of your performance. You'd think with the creation of the event tab this would be expanded further, but it really hasn't. Sure, the events themselves haven't changed much, but they've gotten rid of one key thing. There's no way to keep track of your score. All it shows is the total points. It's difficult to tell where exactly those points come from, and they might have incentive to do that because these events are more than likely rigged. It's never been more obvious than here because of the characters that are involved. If you were to ask most people who their least favorite speed battle character is, chances are your most popular answer is going to be Zazz. Now, I think that there are a lot of characters that are more OP than Zazz, but whatever, I'm just going off the consensus opinion and I do understand why people do not like him. Zazz also happens to be a member of the Deadly Six, a generally unpopular group of characters in the first place. He's going up against Vector, who, while not a superstar in terms of popularity, I'd say he's above average. What I'm trying to say is, Vector is much more popular than Zazz. You don't have to take my word for it, though. Based off what we know about who picked what team, the results are extremely skewed in Vector's favor. On Discord and Twitter, Zazz is only scraping by with about 10 to 20% of the votes. No, this isn't indicative of every player out there, but based off what we know, this is a blowout loss waiting to happen for Zazz. Yet, at the time of this recording, Zazz actually has a slight lead. I know I picked Team Zazz, but certainly most did not. This certainly isn't the first time events have had questionable results either. For the most part, these events have wildly swinging points throughout in both teams' favors, ending with a narrow victory for one team. It's a source of fake competition. Yes, for the most part, these teams have perceived equal sides, so maybe it was convinced this close, but in this case, no, and for every event to be like this is highly unlikely. If somehow someone at Harlot is watching this video, I urge you to please be more honest and transparent with these events, please never make the minimum pull 3 again, and please nerf the boost as soon as possible. With the way it's currently set up, nobody wins. The competitive player base now has to deal with maybe the most overpowered character in the game, and the casual player base can't support their team. These aren't issues that I think need to have data collected before drawing conclusions. In these cases, I think these are things that need to be fixed immediately, as they significantly hinder everyone. If you need to artificially have scores, then I just make the events random, and I'm okay with having a blowout loss. I picked Team Zazz knowing full on well that not many people like Zazz. I'm okay with losing, and I think other people are too. But to have artificial things like this, I just don't think is right. Hopefully next time you guys hear me talk, it'll be something about more positive, and by that point, all this stuff will be fixed, but these things normally take a while to be fixed. This is all just something I really want to get off my chest, though, as something hasn't annoyed me this much in Speed Battle for a while. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts of the overall situation, and I'll see you guys next time.